We're back, baby, at the end of 2023, and we're going to be watching my 2023 predictions that we did at the end of 2022. Let's go. Can you believe it's the end of 2022? What's going to happen in the 2023 property market? What a turbulent time 2022 has been, with interest rates going sky high, inflation sky high, the cost of living crisis. Got fucking list. Prime ministers in about 3 weeks. Thanks for that, Conservatives. And so much more. You'd think the property market would have crashed, but no, it's been pretty stable. But is that going to continue throughout? What people have then had to shift into is a discount variable rate, which has helped quite a lot of our investors, where we're still able to get discount variable rates of about 4%. Now, the great news is the predictions in 2023 is, yes, they're going to go up slightly more. My guess is about 0.75%, by the way. And then it's likely to drop back down. And so in the second half of 2023, we're likely to see fixed 5-year mortgages of between 4 and 5%. But let's see if that... Boom! All right. I'm a bit lucky there, to be fair, because a lot has happened. A lot has happened since then. So just to repeat it, so I recommended, I couldn't give financial advice, of course, but sharing my opinion on what I was doing is having discount variable rates. The way that fixed rate mortgages work, it's not directly in line with Bank of England. It's the fear factor. So they're kind of doing swaps where they're predicting a future. So fixed were like 7%, and actually shortly after this video, 8%. And so I was recommended discount variable rates, hoping that the fixed would come down, and actually they're between 4 and 5%. The best right now on buy-to-let mortgages is about, I think it was 4.49%, but 4.5 to 5% on fixed rate mortgages. So pretty happy with that. And actually there's some in the high 3%, but with higher fees. So pretty happy with that overall. Yeah. I was a bit nervous with this one because a lot has happened since then, but there we go. Prediction 1, fairly spot on. Comes to reality. Of course, then the question is, well, how does this translate to demand? I think there's going to be a slight drop in demand still in the first half of 2023, and then we're likely to see a pickup in Q3 of 2023. So I'm thinking that next year there's going to be roughly about 1.1 to 1.2 million in sales. On the other side of... So this one's interesting. It really depends on how December does, but we're finishing at about the 1.1 mark. There are some resources saying closer to the 1.2, but I'd say I'm within the range. If anything, I actually think I might have been slightly aggressive. I think we'll end up at about 1,080,000, but at the bottom end of my range, although some sources are saying the upper end of my range. So yeah, pretty spot on there. What is more interesting to me is the amount of peaks and troughs through the year. And the reason for that is because of like the more unpredictable nature. For example, what's happening in Russia, some semblance of COVID again through 2023 that maybe you couldn't have seen coming. But yeah, pretty happy with that prediction. I'll give myself an 80% on that one, because if I think what comes through, I think I'll be a little bit shy, but you make your mind up. Let me know if I was close enough. On the other side of this, you've got rental demand. So there's been so much going on, but what you need to understand in property, and this kind of links in with how you're making money, and it's something we call combined returns. You've got your rental return and your capital return. And whilst the capital growth of property goes up through inflation and, of course, there being more demand than there is supply, you've also got that rental impact. So if there's less demand in the purchase of property, what does that mean for the rental demand? Obviously, it goes up, because the one thing you can guarantee is that everybody still needs a home. Just where they live, it might change a little bit from purchase to rental. So what this means for people that are owning properties is that the rental demand goes up. When there's a lack of supply, what happens to prices? Rental prices will go up. And so rental demand up 46%, rental supply down 33%. That's in my particular areas that we target, but across the UK, that has been spot on. So I'm definitely giving myself one for that. Yeah, rental demand definitely went up. Crazy amounts, by the way. Like we're sort of seeing, like in the last 8 months, something like 20% increases on some of the rents, which is as I said, pretty hard on renters, but as a landlord, you're pretty bloody happy, right? Huge discounts like back in the day. No, I don't think that's going to be the market that we're in, but maybe getting a 5-6% discount on a property on today's real value, I think that's more likely if you're able to get direct to vendor, which is going to be key in 2023. More importantly for me though, is getting access to areas that we've not been able to. I'm talking about the prime parts of your location. In my area, these are areas where, you know, £150,000 property in my area, maybe it's 300 where you are, but this 150 grand property would sell like that for 180 grand. And that is just absolutely crazy. So people have been bidding way over the odds for this property, which I'm just not interested in. So now, because of this recalibration, it's making those areas available to us. So yes, getting a bit of a discount is nice, but I don't really care. I genuinely don't care about getting a 5-6% discount. I'd rather pay full market value in an amazing area that's going to hit those demand versus supply metrics over the long term. If you've watched any of my videos, you'll realize how much money you make in buy-to-let property is based on how long you actually own the asset. So that's what's important to me, but maybe you're more interested in the discount. So I love the way I'm just nodding along at this. Also, like, the lisp is killing me. And now I'm really, like, as I'm talking, I'm like, the lisp is killing me. Like, I've got it back. So, yeah, both of those spot on, 100%. So what we did see in the rougher areas is you could get that small discount. And honestly, we had to deal with that with some investors where, like, some sources out there, some packages, we go, I'll get you a 10% discount. And I'm like, I don't care about discounts. So then when I'm working with my investors and I'm like, no, we want to pay market value for prime properties. And actually, I've then gone, show me this 10% discount property. And they've been shit, like terrible, terrible areas. And yeah, so the prediction was spot on. What is that? Is that the fourth prediction now? I think so. I'm giving myself 4 for 4 there. And yeah, what has happened is we've deliberately made a strategic move for ourselves, our purchases, and our investors in the prime areas. And we've managed to get some amazing deals over this year for our investors that over the 5-10 year play is going to be a phenomenal return. So yeah, 100% spot on there and 100% back it as well. And seriously, piece of advice, do not focus on getting discounted properties in shit areas because they will always be a shit area. So, what do I think is going to happen to property prices in 2023? What I think we're going to see is around a 5% drop next year. That's an overall for the full year. I'm actually spot on. Much more optimistic than me and think it's going to increase dramatically. Some people are over the top, in my opinion, and think it's going to go down to like 10% drop, which I just can't see. Now, the true question is, does it matter? And the answer is, it depends. Spot on there. If anything, I was over the top. I think my overall prediction was worst case 8%, best case 3% drop. Average, let's have a look now. Average drop in UK property prices. Lloyd's 4.7 on their high-end properties because they had a more allocation there. 2.4% for some. Knight Frank's high-end property at the 5%. And Zoopla overall just over 2%. So yeah, spot on. The overall came in at about 4.6, taking account of everything there. And in our areas, we deliberately target properties that don't really get impacted. So yeah, I am pretty proud of that one. 5% is, if anything, and I remember this actually, go back if you can, watch this video, people going, you're out of your fucking mind, it's going to drop by 20%. And I just replied going, yeah, cool, let's see what happens on this. So yeah, pretty happy with that one. And I'm kind of, the thing about property in the UK is so resilient as well. Like, we have been battered this year and it's still holding really strong. So yeah, phenomenal, really happy with that one. So if you're looking for turnaround property, so you're buying it, refurbishing it and selling it, maybe you're doing a development, then yes, it really does matter, because what you're going to need to do is take account of that drop on the GDV, the GDV being the gross development value, the end value. So what I would do if you're looking for a turnaround property is I'd work out my numbers based on today, and then the GDV, the end value, drop that by 5%. Are you happy with the amount of profit? Because that's more realistic, in my opinion. Hey, something could happen where it goes up 10% next year and then you've just won. But be practical about that. What about if you're into boring, vanilla buy-to-lets just like me? Well, does it matter? No. What we're going to do is we're going to take advantage of the opportunity. Like I said, it's the buyer's market. 2023 is the time to buy. However, you need to be smart about that. Either you're going to want to get a little bit of discount on the secondary areas that aren't insanely good, but they're great areas still. Or what I'm focusing on, and for our investors, is we're not bothering with a tiny discount that's really not making a difference in the long term. If we can, then great. But we're focusing on the best possible areas in the UK that we know people are looking to keep for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Maybe their kids inherit it. And we're looking at that long-term combined return. So is 2023 the year to fear? No, it's just not. It's an exciting opportunity as long as you have the knowledge and you're ready to take action. I hope you got value from this video. I really want to reiterate that. I'm pretty fucking proud there. That's 5 for 5. Yeah, I was a bit nervous. I asked Alex before if you watched it, and he said, yeah. I was like, did I get stuff right? He went, I ain't telling you. So I've genuinely just watched it. I'm really happy with that. I couldn't have seen some of the shit that's happened in 2023, but something I'm not always going to be right with this stuff. Obviously, I can only use my experience, analyze the market, and we'll see in my 2024 property prediction video, see how much I get right then. But seriously, something I did nail on the head, and I really want to drill this, and this isn't from a bragging point of view, it's from a place of trying to help you, is concentrated wealth through times of despair. What does that mean? What it means is that when the market is rocky, the money goes to the obvious places, not the secondary market. So I said there, look, either go to your secondary market and get like a couple of quid off, that sort of thing, or what we're choosing to do is go and target those areas. And it's proved the really smart decision. So a taste of the 2024 predictions will be this: focus even more on getting the best caliber of property. So we focus around the South Bank area of Leeds and surrounding areas because we know it's the prime real estate area of Yorkshire. So you need to do the same. So many people right now will be tempted to go to the rougher areas because they can get a discount. There is a reason. And honestly, the investors I couldn't close, the investors that I couldn't overcome their objections and explain that to them, that ended up buying there, their property prices got impacted very much in a dramatic way in comparison to our investors that really are playing the long-term game and are getting those strong returns. So I'm really happy with that. Let me know what you thought of it. I am definitely humble cocky on it right now. Maybe a bit more cocky than humble, but genuinely, like, you know, I'm really happy I got those right. I'm really excited for the 2024 predictions. Let me know what you thought of this video in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.